Hey y'all, it's your girl Sarah Hathor or Goddess Hathor back with another message here at spiritualoasisashay@gmail.com. Yeah, hit me up if you want services. So today we are talking about spirits, not necessarily just ghosts, ghouls, and goblins, but we're talking about like spirit, the spirit of discernment, the spirit of worry, the spirit of disdain, the spirit of lust, the spirit of perfectionism. Work with me now. Okay, so with that type of energy, with that type of energy or those type of energies, sometimes we don't know that we've been operating, for this example, because I got it more of in a negative connotation. Sometimes we don't know that we're operating from a spirit that we're unconsciously aware of. Okay, you know how like in life or in the Bible or in general, like they talk about praying stuff away, like, oh, let's pray away, I don't know, gluttony. Let's pray away lust. Like let's read scriptures on gluttony. Let's read scriptures on lust or whatever like that. Let's pray that out of somebody. Let's exercise that out of somebody. Let the pastor, the preacher, speak that off of you. You know, speak that out of you, if that makes sense, and pour life or speak life into you. For example, like in the church. What if you've been making a lot of decisions based off of, and again, this is a negative example, off of the spirit of disdain? Meaning like, you know, maybe not feeling the best, maybe not feeling aligned, maybe coming from like a very sad, painful, not sure, stable type of energy within self. And maybe, for example, you've been getting along just fine. Like maybe you're not aware of this. And you still have been producing things and you've been manifesting and you've been having a lot of great results, a lot of great outcomes. But for some reason, something in you is like something's off. Something don't feel good, something don't feel good, something's off. Like let's take an scenario of, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody or you're getting to know them. Let's say you're in a relationship. Let's say y'all actually like are committed. But for some reason, you're with this person, and although everything seems right, seems perfect, something is off. Something is off. Like you have a lot of worry sometimes. You have a lot of anxiety sometimes. You sometimes feel like you have sometimes. I hate to say it, but like in this example, I'm seeing and hearing it like traumatic episodes, and you don't know why. So let's say you do a little research, you go on TikTok or something like that, and they say, well, if this is a positive person, it's just green flags. You just adjusting. Maybe you just went through a lot of trauma, and this is like a green flag person, and this is part of the process. And not even that, on Christian Talk, it's basically saying the same thing. And then at the same time, you see on the other side of that, well, if you got all this animosity and this tension in this relationship at the beginning, the middle, the end, that's not your person. That's toxic. It shouldn't feel like that. It shouldn't feel like that. Blah, 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 blah. So you got like all these things trying to tell you like what's right, what's wrong, and you're trying to get confirmation on why your relationship or why the relationship or why the person, whether it's the relationship or the person, everybody is singing and talking it loud while they're biking. Sorry. And you're getting these things, distractions, right? And you're getting these kind of false confirmations or like false, you can say false prophets, false people, false speakers trying to tell you what's going on in your individual life. Her income, this also could be a scenario when it comes to businesses, building businesses, how you structure businesses, how you flow with businesses, how you obtain a business as well. So keep that in mind too for whoever sees this. Um, what, how do you get to the point to where, like I said, it's a spirit of disdain? Well, for me, from what I'm hearing, for me, you would feel very uncomfortable. You would never feel balanced. You would never feel safe. You would never feel stable for some reason. And even if you feel this, it wouldn't just be when you around them. You would be able to feel this when you're not with them. I don't care if you want a day, 2 or 3 for some reason. This don't mean they gone, they left you, they abandoned you. I'm just saying like you would be so sure of this person not only in their presence but after they leave you. You wouldn't feel like a quiver or unsureness in your throat chakra, as if like something is scary or something expressed or something is, I don't know, like stimulating you in a negative way. You wouldn't, again, have all that anxiousness and worry I spoke about just a minute ago. Like you would feel very, very, very stable, very, very sure. You would be able to tell that when this person is with you, you feel good. When this person is not around you, you feel good. No matter if y'all work on opposite states, worlds, cities, countries, or you work in the morning, they work overnight. Like, you would feel so confident. You would just feel confident, and nothing or no one would be able to shake that confidence. But if for some reason you're not feeling it, then, for example, I use the spirit of disdain, but it could be other spirits, right? Other things affecting the connection. But for some reason, you just feel disdain, that worry, anxiety, that pain, that panging feeling, that emotional feeling. You didn't journal, you didn't pray, you didn't looked online, you didn't even maybe talk to the person about it, and they reassuring you. But for some reason, again, you don't have that confidence, that stability, that which you have had maybe in the past, or you just know you should have, or what I'm speaking of, you just don't have it. So some would say it's the spirit of disdain. So how do you get to the point to where you know it's a spirit of disdain? Or maybe you're just operating in the spirit of disdain to maybe where you can't receive the person, right? Or maybe the person isn't right. They're the spirit of disdain. How do you rebuke it? How do you call it out? How do you get it to show itself? Y'all know how like in demon, oh my God, it was a black butterfly, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. A butterfly was on me earlier, but that was a big butterfly and I don't want that. But that's a sign, that's death energy. How do you get to like that death energy, that Pluto energy, those type of endings with self, or those endings, or how do you kill that spirit, right? Whether it's you carrying it, harboring, not being able to receive this person, or they really that spirit, and that's why you can't really be stable with them and connect with them. How do you see it? How does it like show up in your life? How do you call it out? And this is what I was trying to say. I'm repeating myself, but I guess God want me to repeat to make it like a stronger message. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating. That's just how I'm talking. I'm not a repetitive person if you watch my other videos, but that's just what it is. If I repeat myself from now on, that's just what it is. So you know how like in movies, they'll be like exorcising a demon. And they'd be like, they need the name of the demon so they can exorcise the name of the demon. If they don't get the name of the demon's not going to be exorcised. Like, you might get it to come up. You may get it to, like, for example, if you're possessed, for you, let's say I was possessed, I would just appear as this person, but I would have all the symptoms of someone who's possessed. But as they are, like, putting the holy water on me, saying these prayers, saying these incantations, sprinkling shit on me, my face begins to change. Like the demon itself is coming up through my physical appearance, right, while they are exorcising me. But the last thing they need in this example to get the demon up out of me finally, or for the thing to finally make itself appear, I heard wind change, you got to know the name. You got to know the name. How do you get a name of something, a name of a demon, a name of an entity, a name of a spirit, a name of something that is affecting you, attacking you, whether it's you, them, or something that you know is spiritual, is what I'm saying. Not physically not physically, because remember the physical, they do this, they do that, they perfect, they da. But for some reason, I'm not comfortable. So this thing, is it me, is it them, what's going on? How do we get to the answer of it's the spirit of disdain? Spirit petty. It said you have to fast. Okay, so by fasting, when spirit says fast, I'm starting to say fast a lot. So usually with fast is usually something that we give up to obtain something from God. A lot of people fast for spiritual blessings, material things, insight, clarity, discernment, solutions, breakthroughs, right? So take it as it resonates. Sometimes I use fasting in that way where I'm gonna give up something, and sometimes I mean no, we're gonna attack the shit. We're gonna dive in. I mean, we gotta work, we gotta eat, we gotta sleep, we gotta work out, but we're gonna find time to meditate and to journal and really just sit there 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time we got, whether you're a single mom, wife, whatever, husband, whatever, we're going to sit there and we're going to ask ourselves in quiet time, alone time, in the car, in the morning before people go up, on a walk, on a jog, we're going to sit there in peace and quiet, wherever we can find it, in a damn closet, and we're going to sit there and talk to God. We're going to 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 work it out. If you a tarot reader, you're going to pull cards. If it's too much, you can't even read your cards, you can't hear your cards, your crown chakra block, your throat block, like I said, maybe some shit going on with your throat chakra, you're going to sit there, you're going to talk to God. You're going to sit there and you're going to force God to unveil and convey to you what the hell is going on, because it's something spiritual. What I've been talking about lately, just a sidebar in my videos, I've been talking about a lot of spiritual stuff, because for me personally, as I mature, everything to me is just way, way, way more spiritually cause and effect. Like a lot of things, more things than we want to give to the spirit or the spiritual essence of life. The spirit part of life is spiritual. I don't, damn near really everything, right? I may not know that with all the things, but I know that, if that makes sense. And I'm realizing as I live my life, as I observe my life, as I observe people, as I observe the world, as I see social media, as I see things being exposed, throat chakra. See somebody trying to fuck my throat chakra. It's spiritual. And I ain't got no water. And so with that being said, a lot of my messages are just going to be spiritually fact-based, spiritually rooted. So that's why I'm talking like this, just sidebar. And in some videos in tarot, some I might just be tarot, okay? But that's still a spiritual like tool. It's an occult tool. So anyway, we gonna sit there with God, okay? What they say, the war room, the closet. I think it's called the war room. Like I think that's a figurative type of way to say like going in the war room when you going in there with God and you battling God and you battling, not battling God like per se. Oh, there go my bird. It's a blue heron. Oh my gosh, y'all. All week I've been seeing my birds, 11. And it's squeaking. Oh, this confirmation. Oh yeah, I'm doing right. Oh fuck yeah, let's keep going. So you go into this war room, you go into this war process where it's just you and God. Don't tell nobody what you got going on. Don't tell nobody about no mistakes you had. Don't tell nobody they making mistakes. This is their relationship. Don't tell nobody nothing about what's going on, right? You're going to want to tell close friends. You're going to want to tell close people. I wouldn't, because let's say it is just you and you didn't beat up and battered this connection, this person. Whoever you told that to, they're going to judge that person and judge you. And they never going to really be for you in their relationship. And what if that is a divinely orchestrated, real, spiritual, ordained connection? You just have the spirit of this thing because of like your trauma or some shit or projection or something like that didn't manifested and festered in you. And now because of this connection, it's something that's coming up that you need to heal. But then you got these people that you told all this shit to about this person that was bad, and they project in your relationship, which doesn't create a safe space and stability. I do believe in triggers and traumas and projections, right? But I believe in protection as well. So you just got to be mindful of stuff like that. And that was just very specific I needed to share. So when you go in this war room and this war process and this fasting process with God to figure out, God, who is it? What is it? What is the spirit? What is this thing? What is this entity? Is it me? Is it them? Because you cannot quite find, oh my gosh, my other bird. You cannot quite find the truth. You just don't see it. There's no hope. Oh no, that's the other bird. Okay. I'm very much a bird watcher. But that's how I get a lot of confirmations. You're very much natural confirmations, not just the angel numbers or the billboards, because I believe in false confirmations. I feel like people do, energies and entities definitely do manipulate stuff, but I don't believe they have the power that we give them to like higher extents. And I'll get into that in another video. But everything is energy, right? So you go into a war room, you go into a fasting situation, a fasting process where it's just you and God, and y'all just talking and you hashing it out. You go over the pros, you go over the cons. Maybe take you a week, maybe take you 2 weeks, maybe take you a month. I heard for somebody it may take you a whole fucking year. I don't know what that is, but bless your heart. Whatever that is, you go through a whole process. And I'm assuming, because I saw that butterfly about 5 minutes ago in recording this, it seems like you may be going through like in this example, it seems like you would be going through like an ego death, a transformational energy, right? The butterfly's transformation is metamorphosis. I heard your inner child could be affected. So even though I'm channeling this as an example, it seems like it's going to be directly confirming something for somebody. And what I'm realizing is, for me personally, like sidebar, I used to have a lot of like ego deaths really fast. Like I could die within a day 10, 12 times. Swear to God. Just by how my mind and spirit, how me and spirit walk and talk. When I say walk, like our relationship and how I like process shit and I see shit and I see the world and I journal and like it's crazy. And sometimes more times than that. But now I'm realizing like it's a bit slower and that's not bad. But I'm not used to that. And I have to be more patient for that ending to come, that solution to come, or that thing to come. And spirit is saying that's a fear-based thing. Like it's a fear-based thing. Even me saying this, like that's fear for me to be scared or me to be apprehensive about the end, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, God brought me up through all those other endings and changes, whether they bear good fruit, bad fruit, or whatever, when it still bear very much necessary fruit at the end of the day in these slower changes and endings, that's for somebody, even though it was me sharing my personal story with that part. But you get in this war room, you get into this fasting position, and you just hash it out. And you take whatever time you need, and you don't let nobody deter you. And you don't leave. I'm not for it. In this example, it's a relationship. It could be a job. Like I said, it was income earlier. Don't leave until you get the answer, the solution, the scenario you need. And you will know that by your own connection with God, how God confirms stuff. And if for some reason y'all don't know what that looks like, I may do a video on like walking with God and like just give y'all some examples of like maybe stuff. I don't know if I want to give y'all my way of walking God. I'm a very private person. I'm a Scorpio, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, but just your own walk with God, you should. Oh my God, y'all, that bug went way far. See, that's what I'm saying. Attacks and shit. This bug went straight for my eye. Looked like it was a bee. So you'll know yourself, and I'm leaving all this in the video. I don't give a fuck. You'll know the fruit of that which is supposed to come based off your walk with God. You will know it's like, okay, that's the ending that I needed. That's the clarity that I needed. That's the solution that I needed. This told me exactly what I needed to know. But you learn it through your walk and your language and your communion and your relationship with God. How do you get that communion? How do you get the relationship? How do you go into the war room with God and get the solution you need, or get that spirit to be named, or get that clarity to come up? You take time and spend time with God. So that's how that's going to start, right? So the war room is just an extension of you, hopefully, and if not, maybe this is also confirmation, you starting to spend more time with God. Stop spending so much time with TikTok. I'm talking to myself too. Stop relying on things outside of you to give you permission, answers, and clarity and confirmations that God has already given you. I'm talking to myself too. Even someone who loves tarot, has dreams, gets so many confirmations, and I'll be real good and I'll be so good. Even when I do reads for other people, I'll be like, I don't know if it's anybody who read for other people, but like, and I love doing readings in person, but like I be reading, I be feeling it, and they be like, and then they'll confirm it, and then they'll confirm it, and then I'll say all this shit, and then they'll confirm it. So like, it make you like, bitch, I know, like, bitch, what you talking about? Like, I know my shit, but God still gonna humble your ass, because God knows most, God knows all. So either way, you will still have to submit yourself, no matter how intuitive, smart, educational, scientific based, just life street, whatever code, multimillionaire, whatever it is, doctor, lawyer, regular person who just know life, can test people, can see a fucking rat down the street. Don't matter. You're going to have to get in the booth with God. You're going to have to work with God. You're going to have to walk with God. You're going to have to meditate with God. You're going to have to premeditate. Not pre. I'm trying to say something. You're just going to have to make sure you make time with God. Okay? You're going to have to. There's no other way. And once and only once you do that, then you will be able to see what it is. I feel like I just rambled, y'all. Y'all let me know if this video made sense. But I just feel like I said a whole bunch of shit that kind of made sense, didn't make sense. I don't fucking know. But I'm going to post it as is because I'm supposed to. I hope it catches where it's supposed to catch. I feel like it was a lot of messages and meanings in that. But again, we were talking about the spirit of disdain and how do you know what's going on with something that looks so perfect and amazing, but you can't receive it or you don't feel comfortable in it. The only way to get true confirmation, because I feel like, as I said, everything is spiritual, outside, inside, personally as well, individually as well, is when you go to God, period. And I guess the whole gist of this message is take your shit to God, take your problems to God, take your trauma to God, take your children to God, take your spouse to God. Like, even if they in the spirituality or in the church or not, take them to God, if that makes sense. Pray over them, ask God about it. Like, and some stuff, again, you will have to just grow through and go through, whether it's in this relationship example, whether they made it or they didn't make it, they still had to, that person, the woman in this example, I'm gonna just use the woman because I'm a woman, she had to still see what that process looked like. She had to learn to see what that looks like when something is not a true fruit of that, what it's supposed to be. For example, let's say if the relationship wasn't right and this was like a Jezebel spirit or a false counterfeit, a false partner. And that's why she never felt like the stability that I talked about earlier, or the confidence with and without the person. It was never the same. It was always inconsistent. But they did so many maybe things that they weren't used to, or showed up in so many ways that they weren't used to. Even if they were used to a lot of good things, but just on a higher level. But once she got in with God, not only did God confirm it in that war room, said, oh no, that's not your person, it's this spirit, but let it play out. Because sometimes God also still wants you to see, even though they're carrying this spirit, they're carrying this fruit, for you, you need to learn, for you, you need to see. I'm not telling people to stay in abusive relationships or like any abuse at all or like lines of deceit. But at some point, when you become very like super aware and kind of super conscious, you will get to a point to where like you in some shit that you probably don't need to be in, but you need to learn from it. It's just like sometimes you will hear women will say, stay with that man until you're ready to leave him. You need to leave a man. Just stay with him until you're ready to leave him. You feel me? Or the man, stay with her until you're ready to leave her. You pretty much know you probably gonna end up leaving her, but stay with her until you're ready. Does that make sense? And I know those two examples made sense. So it's that same kind of energy, right? You would apply it physically at this point. Is this part 2 message? No, this is the spirit message. I'm mixing messages, but they all correlate. Y'all should watch my part 2 testing the fruit message as well. I got the same stuff on because I had so many downloads. I'm just sitting on the bench recording them from like walking and running or whatever. But you just have to, get in that point to where you're comfortable with God. And if you feel, I heard like embarrassed or scared of God or something like that, like don't be. Like it don't care what you look like, how you look, where you been, that you ain't never talked to it. It don't care. God, whether you look at it as a father, mother, energy, yourself, your higher self, I don't care if you're atheist. You still need to spend room in you need to spend time alone. Even if you married, one-on-one, and figure out what the fuck going on. If something is bothering you so much, especially if it appears good and it's bothering you. People don't talk about how, some stuff can appear really good, but it's bothering you. Because sometimes it's your issue. You could self-sabotage. You, the spirit of disdain in that example. And again, you just can't receive because maybe so much heartache and pain in your whole life. And when something good comes, you just can't receive it. You just fucking can't. And maybe you never noticed it because maybe nothing never good ever happened to you. And now it's triggering the fuck out of you. Or it's something false. And it just ain't never been super consistent, but it appears consistent. It acts consistent. It appears consistent to everyone, including you. And you just ain't never dealt with it. And God just wants to expose you to that which sometimes things look good that really are not good for you. And then you have to learn through that. And they're the disdain one. They're the thing that it really isn't good for you. This also is about maturation and being mature. I'm hearing 22 minutes on the clock. It's about self-growth, self-love. It's about being self-aware. It's about accepting duality in self and in others. It's about having compassion and grace for self, forgiveness. It's about growing slow, growing with the program, going with the flow. It's just about a lot of things. It's a lot of things. Yeah, so I hope that made sense. I use the spirit of disdain, but basically I'm saying when you go to God, God may still start making you have realizations that things that bother you are more spiritually based in the physical, and things that aren't flowing for you or not working good for you are more spiritually based. And it could be also negative things, but let's be honest, we talk about negative shit all the time. Sometimes it could be something positive and it's not flowing or not like resonating with you, if that makes sense. So I hope that, at the end of the day, that it makes sense and that it resonates and that y'all can correlate and y'all can take what y'all want and that you yourself gets downloads from this. Because sometimes I can watch other people and I as well get downloads and I have to pause a message. And sometimes I won't even finish a message because I get just enough from it. But also that's another thing. You may gotta, even though I'm going to post this for people to watch, you may need to start also just getting to the point to where you can limit how many people you let feed into your spirit. Because they might got spirits and shit. And sometimes people are not channeling from a pure intention. Some people are not true prophets. Some people are not true seers. Some people are just good at just talking. We're in the age of talking. Hell, I'm talking. If you don't resonate with me, I don't care. But like, everybody not what they sing. It's a lot of fake shit, false shit, illusions out here. And it's crazy because I'm saying it, but like, I don't give a fuck. If you watch this, the only video you watch from me, you stop listening to me and other people, good. I did my job. I don't give a fuck. God gonna still bless me. I'm gonna still be okay. So, yeah, be sure to come in, like, and subscribe if you want your own personal reading. If you want any spiritual coaching, where I talk about spirits and war rooms and warfare and just discernment is a big thing I've been focusing on, and wisdom and testing fruits, and or just self-acknowledgement, self-actualization, self-awareness. Yeah, email me at spiritualoasisashay@gmail.com. Bye.